Welcome to the show. I have a great show planned for you again this week. Later on, I have Adam Shinsky with me. He's the executive director of the Wheeling YMCA. We'll be talking about all of the programs and events that the YMCA has to offer. Also some fundraising going on at the Y in the upcoming future. But first, we'll start off with some usual features. And I want to start off with a quote as July approaches here. I thought this would be an appropriate quote. I always have the most fun on the 4th of July. You don't have to exchange any gifts. You just go to the beach and watch fireworks. James Lafferty, who's an actor, said that, and a lot of truth to that. I mean, I enjoy all the holidays. Christmas is my favorite still, and you do, of course, exchange gifts on Christmas, but a lot more meaning to Christmas than just exchanging gifts. And, you know, the 4th of July, a lot more meaning than just fireworks as well, but I do enjoy the fireworks. I do try to get to the beach if I can over that week. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk in recent, the past year or two, especially about patriotism, and, you know, sometimes there's talk about that over, you know, Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and of course those are great holidays to talk about patriotism, particularly as it pertains to our military. But I think we need to remember the true meaning of the 4th of July too, which is it's Independence Day. To when we became a country. It's really the most memorable or most notable celebration of our patriotism, and you know the fireworks certainly are a way to demonstrate that and show that. But also there are other ways as well. You know, just by participating in a 4th of July parade or watching it, wearing a shirt with the American flag, different things that you can do to just talk to your children about patriotism and what it means to live in this country, to be free, to live in a democracy. So all those are ways that we can show and display our patriotism and pass that on to others. So I do enjoy this particular holiday, and I hope that everyone watching does as well. I want to give you the fireworks schedule here for the area. I know sometimes it's tough to figure out when the different fireworks are going to be taking place throughout the valley, so I'll give you the rundown here kind of in alphabetical order. In Barnesville, a little bit late fireworks, July 7th at Barnesville Memorial Park. In Bethlehem, here in Wheeling, July 1st they'll take place. In Brilliant, July 3rd. Cadiz will be June the 30th at Sally Buffalo Park, which is a great park, by the way. Some nice lakes out there, some great fields for the kids to play sports on. It's a great park out there. In Elm Grove, a little bit later in Elm Grove, July 6th, Patterson Ball Field. That was always one of my favorites growing up, is to go out to Patterson. The Elm Grove Civics have traditionally put those fireworks on and do a great job there. In Follinsby, again, another late one, July 8th, and for Follinsby. Martins Ferry, July 3rd. Moundsville, July 4th. They're going to go the old traditional route, July 4th at Valley Fork City Park. New Martinsville will be July 1. Ogleby, July 3rd. And Ogleby is always a great one as well. Sitting there on the hillside up at Ogleby, there might not be a more scenic place in the valley to watch fireworks than Ogleby. And there's always a lot of other festivities surrounding the 4th of July holiday at Ogleby, so take advantage of that as well. Sistersville, July 8th. St. Clairsville will do theirs one of the earliest, June the 30th in St. Clairsville. That'll be at Central Park. Steubenville will be July 4th. Tappan Lake, June 30th, another early one there. Toronto, July the 7th. That'll be at Clark Hinkle Stadium. One of the older stadiums in the valley that's had a little bit of work done to it in recent years, but July the 7th there in Toronto. Also July 7th up at the Highlands, right there, Quaker Steak and Lube. There'll be fireworks on July the 7th. Weirton, July the 1st. Wellsburg will do 4th of July at the 18th Street Park. And Wheeling, of course, a big one that everybody looks forward to down at Heritage Port. Big celebration always there. I can remember even back in the olden days when I was growing up and the parking garage was still there, the Wharf Garage, and standing on top of the Wharf Garage and watching the fireworks. Of course, no longer there, but now the beautiful Heritage Port that's there, an even more scenic place to watch the fireworks on the 4th of July in Wheeling. And then Wintersville, again, an early one, June the 30th for Wintersville. That'll be at Indian Creek High School. And then Woodsfield will do theirs on July the 3rd. So I may have missed a one or two around the valley, but those are some of the highlights. So if you get a chance, of course, a lot of opportunities there to get out, watch the fireworks, and celebrate the 4th of July. A little legal tip here, speaking of fireworks. You know, I've had a number of people that have called me over the course of the years because they've been injured by fireworks. Usually not the professional displays that I was just describing. Usually people lighting them off at home or a neighbor's house and then they get injured somehow, or sometimes by defective firework. The thing goes off the wrong way or shoots the wrong direction or explodes in someone's hand when they just lit it. Just a little tip that if you do get injured, one of the important things is oftentimes it is a manufacturing defect or a design defect. keep whatever you can with respect to that firework. If you can get a hold of the canister, if you can get a hold of the packaging, whatever it is that you can keep and find, and then also find out where were they bought. That's very, very important. I've never actually taken one of the cases of people that have called because, and a lot of times it's because they're missing some of that critical information that you would need to proceed with the case, or perhaps it was because they were injured through their own fault, or perhaps the fault of the person lighting them off who didn't know what they were doing. Sometimes there can be a homeowner's claim filed with the person's insurance company if they acted negligently in how they were firing them off, shoot them over to the neighbor's house and hit somebody, something like that. But that's rare. But again, one of the keys is making sure you gather all the information right away, because it does disappear, or people forget where they got it, or things like that. So if somebody would unfortunately be injured, get all the information right away. One other thing to mention here in the legal world is all eyes are on the West Virginia State Capitol. The House of Delegates is considering impeachment proceedings with respect to Justice Laughley, Justice of the West Virginia Supreme Court. The big issue right now is this August 14th deadline. If there is an opening on the Supreme Court before August 14, then it will go on the ballot this November, and the people of the state of West Virginia will make the decision as to who the next Supreme Court justice is. If there's not an opening before August 14, then it will not go on the November ballot, and instead the governor will appoint someone to fill that seat until the next election. So a big important date there is August 14. There was an amendment proposed by a couple of delegates, including Delegate Sean Fluharty from here in our area, to set a time frame for things being done so that August 14th deadline could be met. But unfortunately, that was voted down, mostly along party lines in the House of Delegates. Most of the Republicans voting against the proposed amendment by Delegate Fluharty, unfortunately. I think it would have been good to have a deadline. I mean, for just about anything you do, it's good to have deadlines, whether it be court proceedings or otherwise, but unfortunately that was voted down. So we'll see what happens by August 14th. I don't know that it's likely. I think that it may even be purposefully delayed somewhat so that the governor can appoint someone, which is unfortunate, because you'd rather see these things decided by the people. I mean, that's how justices are elected in the first place, and that's how you like to see a new justice be seated as well. But we'll keep an eye on that as the summer continues on here. We need to take a break. When we come back, I'll have my guest with me, Adam Shinsky, Executive Director of the Wheeling YMCA. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show.
When reviewing your oil and gas offers or royalty check statements, do you wonder, am I being offered a fair amount? Do I feel comfortable reading the statement? Do I have peace of mind? If you answered no to these questions, you need Bordas Mineral Management. Our passion is helping mineral owners protect and expand their mineral wealth. Our examiners tell you whether you're being treated fairly and getting paid what is rightfully yours. Bordas Mineral Management. Be protected. Have peace of mind.
Recommended by the highest authorities. Danoon Lumber.
It's like a bad one's coming. Yeah. Right?
Welcome back to the show. This is my favorite time each week when I have a guest with me, and this week is no different. I have with me the Executive Director of the Wheeling YMCA, Adam Shinsky. Adam, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Jamie.
Second time on the show, about a year and a half ago, I think all the way back in December of 2016, I think you were on the show.
Right.
And so good to have you back.
Thank you.
Lots been happening at the Y, and things for both kids and adults. And I was out there, it was either last night or the night before. I think it was the night before, picking up my kids, and saw a bunch of kids out on the field playing soccer, and then go inside. There's kids playing basketball, and the fitness room, a lot of people working out. Always a lot going on.
Right. Yeah, this is a big time of year for us now. Dead set into summer camp, so that's always a very busy time at the YMCA. So
let's talk about that a little bit. The summer camp. People may not realize, that the YMCA is certified by the state of West Virginia, which is a little different than some camps that you may send your kids to in the summer, and that's a very important designation. But what all is involved, and how many kids are there in that?
Well, definitely a lot has changed since the last time we talked about summer camp on the show. Back then, we are, as you said, state certified by the state of West Virginia, and basically we follow the guidelines that they give us. And one of the big guidelines is because of our space, we're able to serve just under about 170 kids per day. So, and that's kindergarten through 6th grade.
Now, you said there's been some big changes. What have the changes been?
Well, prior to this year, our summer camp was always known as YMCA SSAP, which stood for Summer Sports Activity Programs. Well, a lot of studies that we get in email from the YMCA of the USA and just a bunch of data just showed that, not in our area, but just all over the country, kids aren't really into sports as much as they used to be 10 years ago. So, Brian Blazer is our child care director. Him and I talked. We looked at these studies like that, and we actually changed the name and changed the whole part of the camp. It's now known as Y Camp Adventures, and we have just incorporated a whole bunch of new things that entertain kids that that do play sports and don't play sports. So we try to be able to serve every kid around here that wants to come to our camp, so they have a positive experience. So
I've been following along a little bit, and I've even seen some things on Facebook, and seeing the kids going out and doing some hiking and things like that, some fishing. What all have they been doing this summer?
Well, all new field trips. Prior, we would just do like a lot of sports field trips. We would find a miniature golf place, bowling, et cetera, et cetera. But now we, like for example, yesterday, our younger children, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grades, were at the Schrader Center at Ogleby, and our older children up into 6th grade, and including our Y for Life, which goes up to 9th grade, was at the Wilds.
Oh, wow.
So, and then we've also incorporated hiking at Bark Camp, our trips to the Pittsburgh Zoo, all kinds of new activities. We actually collaborate a lot with the city of Wheeling to do arts and crafts, something we've never done before. We have story time with the Ohio County Public Library 2 or 3 times a week. All of our guest speakers are educational. We have the Sheriff's Department come in, the Wheeling Police Department. We have detectives that do fingerprints for the kids, science camp a week, a lot more technology, a lot more field trips. Like I said, we still do sports, but it's something for everybody now. So.
And you said you have all the way up through 9th graders in the programs? Or?
We do. Summer camp, which is certified by the state, is kindergarten through 6th grade. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, we invented a program called Y for Life, which stands for Leadership, Independence, Fun, Fitness, and Exploration. And that's for children 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And that's one of the rare programs around here for that age group. So.
Now, is there still room for people to be able to come throughout the summer? Is it filled up and they have to wait till next year now? No,
we do have a waiting list for some of the age groups now, but the way it works is, like I said, it's 170 kids per day, but with vacations and everything like that, I don't want to say it's a waiting list, but they need to call to see what weeks, what days are available, because it varies day by day. So.
Now, this is kind of an extension, I guess, so to speak, of something that goes on during the course of the school year. I mean, people may not realize that on snow days or breaks from school like Christmas break and stuff, there's also things for kids at the Y.
Yeah, anytime that Ohio County Schools is not in session, we have a program at the YMCA, and we incorporate all that. Due to we not know when there's a snow day or anything like that, there's not so much structured like field trips or speakers or anything like that. But we do have swim time, gym time, lunch for the kids, occasional speaker. So.
Speaking of kids and keeping an eye on kids or having them occupied, one of the things I didn't realize until just recently is that there are now child care options also for parents if they want to come in and work out in the Y.
Yes.
There are certain times of the day there are child care options for the kids, for the members.
Right, and right now currently it's free for members, and we plan on keeping it that way, but it's 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and due to how busy we've been getting, those hours may change and may expand here real shortly. But it's simple. They have to be a member of the YMCA, and they have to stay in the building when their child's there. So.
So if the parents want to leave the kid there, they got to be in the building
working
doing something,
out. Yes,
aerobics,
yes.
Workout, whatever it is they may be doing.
Yes, and then we do allow them to go off-site and jog as long as they check in the front desk, because we have a lot of members come in, do their lifting, and go jogging outside. But yeah.
Now, what age kids does that child care for?
Potty trained and up.
Okay.
So.
Now, speaking of new things, at the Y, especially with respect to kids, a lot of youth training going on now. I mean, you look around the country. When I go to other cities where I have a lot of friends that that I went to Notre Dame with that are living throughout the country, and I see some of the things their kids are doing on Facebook. The Y has now incorporated that through this youth training programs that are taking place.
Massive amount of phone calls, just saying, do anything for my son. He plays baseball. We don't want to just do a regular lifting program, just something that improve his baseball or basketball or football, etc. So we went out, we hired a trainer, certified trainer. His name is Michael Roby. He's a long-time former coach in football and basketball at Martins Ferry. He's a member of the Martins Ferry High School Hall of Fame and the all-time leading basketball scorer at Ohio University Eastern. And he's been coaching kids for years, has a great relationship with the children, and I knew the program would grow, but I never expected how fast it was grow. He's working just over a year now with almost 200 kids total. So.
Yeah, it seems like, when I look at it, there's a lot of not just sports specific, but also plyometrics and strength and conditioning things that could be applicable to whatever sport a kid may happen to play.
Right, and he's big on speed and agility. We have a nice little room back there. It used to be the former racquetball court. A lot of speed ladders, a lot of plyometric jumps, as you said, because no matter if you play baseball, football, wrestling, you need to have the speed and agility to succeed. So that's really his main focus with that. So.
We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue speaking with Adam Shinsky, the Executive Director of the Wheeling YMCA. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show.
At Ultra Big Bank, we need to be assured you can make your payments. Yes. Well, buy them out. Acquire. As I was saying, I'm not sure I see the value in your small account.
That's when we went to Belmont Savings. They took the time to understand our needs.
And they didn't make us feel small. Where the big banks are only interested in growing, Belmont Savings' interest was in us.
Belmont Savings Bank, focused on your future.
So, how was your first day?
Long. So, Josh asked me about you.
Daddy's home. Go get him.
For your home, for your life, for more than 50 years. The Hardwood Specialists, DeNoon Lumber.
Welcome back to the show. I've been speaking with my guest this week, Adam Shinsky, the Executive Director of the Wheeling YMCA, and we were talking a little bit about the youth training programs that go on. I mean, how can people get their kids involved with that? I mean, you just sign up, or do you have to call, make an appointment? What happens there?
We have registration forms at the YMCA. We have information on our website and our Facebook page. The way the process works is you come in, ask any questions that you have, you register your child. We will schedule your first workout for your child, and then after that, Coach Roby has an app that he uses, and he gets with the parent and everything like that, and they just go on, they download the app on their smartphone, iPad, whatever they have, and they put their times in.
Okay, great. Yep. Pretty easy then. With respect, you mentioned Facebook page, website. Is that a good place for people to go just to find out about things in general that are happening at the Y?
Our Facebook page, yes, Wheeling YMCA on Facebook. We actually have two. Wheeling YMCA is all of our membership program. Then we have a separate one for the Wheeling YMCA Miracle League, and then we do have a website, www.wheelingymca.org. So,
hard to believe, that we're almost into July here, and that means that more programs will be coming up, and football just around the corner. Of course, the flag football at the Y is always a big thing, and other fall programs as well.
Yeah, flag football right around the corner. That is one of our larger programs. The flag football and the winter basketball are our two biggest sports programs we hold at the YMCA. So
people may not realize, that it's how big of a part of the community the Y is. I mean, if your kid plays just about anything, they've played it at some point, probably at the Y, or maybe that's where they first played that sport. But also, one of the only indoor swimming pools around, and a lot of kids and adults take advantage of that. It seems like the pool stays pretty busy.
Right. Obviously with our summer camp, the pool is busy during the afternoon hours, and then May, June, July in the summer, with kids going to the beach and hanging out at the pool more often, our swimming lessons are full. So both group and private. We do offer both group and private swim lessons to adults and children. So.
Now, is there always a lifeguard on duty?
Always a lifeguard on duty, and then when the pool is busier in the summer camp, it's a 1 to 25 ratio. So
there may be multiple lifeguards at any given time.
Yep.
The Y is a charitable organization. Some people may think of it as it's like a fitness center like anywhere else, but it's not. It's a charitable organization, started many, many years ago, and so one of the big things that's needed are funds, and people can make tax-deductible contributions, and different ways to do that. But one of the big fundraisers, of course, the biggest one is the Light of the Valley, which has become quite a tradition. The 12th one now coming up here on August 22nd, and great honoree and speaker for this year, it looks like.
Right, and obviously this is, like you said, the 12th annual Light of the Valley. My role has significantly changed. I believe the 9th through the 12th I've been the executive director. Prior to that, I just made sure the kids could say the Pledge of Allegiance before we started. But no, we are honoring Mr. Jay Adams this year. Jay Adams was big in the Wheeling area of starting the soccer program. Really good guy. Looking forward to honoring him this year. And our guest speaker, we try to always keep it themed. So with Mr. Adams being big into soccer, the guest speaker is going to be WVU women head coach Nikki Izzo Brown. So we're looking forward to that. So.
That'd be great. Of course, they played for the title not too long ago, and have had a really successful program there. And of course, Jay Adams, just a fantastic guy. I've known him since I was a young kid, and he really, when you look around and see all that is soccer in the Wheeling area today, I mean, he was such a big part of that. You know, one of the founders of the Wheeling travel soccer programs as well, and you see the kids that have come out of there and gone on to play soccer in college and stuff, and none of that would probably be possible without him. And then, of course, also very involved with C3 Church, and puts on that big camp every year. It's for free of charge for kids, where they not only you know, get to play some soccer, but also get some ministry as well. So, great selection there. You also have some other fundraisers, steak fries, golf scrambles, things like that. Are those coming up?
All coming up. We have our, the first one will be the steak fry, July 27th, Friday, Bethlehem Community Park. Everything's done by the Texas Roadhouse up at the Highlands. They actually cook your steak for you. If you want chicken, they cook chicken, bring your plate out to you, and that'll all go to proceeds to our camp and our Y for Life to make sure the kids can still go on all these good field trips at a lower cost. So.
And then there'll be a golf scramble sometime later in the summer?
Golf scramble August 25th, Beckwood this year. So 9 a.m. shotgun start.
That's a Saturday.
That's Saturday morning.
People don't have to worry about work. They can play.
Right.
What you know, what do you think in terms of the future of the Y? I mean, people sometimes ask, you know, hey, look, you know, see Ys in other communities sometimes closing up their doors, things like that, but it seems like it's stayed strong here in Wheeling. I mean, you know, what do you attribute that strength to?
Staff, volunteers, and just the relationship that the children have with the people at the YMCA, and just relationships that we've made over the course of the years. You know, it's a safe place to go. We offer pretty much something for everyone, regardless of your age. 6 months old, we have children doing water babies, and our oldest Silver Sneaker member is 94 years old now. So, you know, like I said, just something for everybody, and that's kept the Y going. So,
well, good luck with everything. I really appreciate you being here on the show, Adam.
Thank you, Jamie.
All right. We need to take a break. When we come back, I'll be talking sports. Stay with us here on the Jamie Bordas Show. People in nursing homes are some of the most vulnerable members of our society. They're there because they can't take care of themselves. Those facilities have a duty to take care of our loved ones, and when they don't, it's important they're held accountable. We've not only collected record results against negligent nursing homes, but more importantly, we've helped so many families get the answers and closure they so badly needed.
Bordas and Bordas, fighting for justice.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
Welcome back to the show. It's time to talk sports, and big news in the NBA for the local area. Javon Carter, of course, guard who just finished up his career at WVU, drafted in the early second round by the Memphis Grizzlies, and so happy for him. I mean, you know, a fan favorite, really one of the favorites over the course of the entire history of the Mountaineer basketball program, and so good to see him get drafted into the NBA. There's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft. It's not like the NFL where there's a bunch of rounds, or Major League Baseball. I mean, there's just 2 rounds. So remember, there's only 12, 15 players on the bench at any given time, so not a lot of room for players. But to see him do that, and really had a good showing in the days leading up to the draft, the weeks leading up to the draft, when they were doing their workouts, and especially with his defenses, we've seen him play so well over the course of his career at WVU. So it'll be fun and exciting to watch him. Hopefully he catches on and does a great job with the Grizzlies, and can watch him for a number of years to come. Of course, everybody in the NBA and around the country is waiting to see what happens with LeBron James, where will he land, because then the rest of the dominoes will begin to fall with respect to the NBA and where people are going to go in free agency, et cetera. The free agency period begins July 1. And some big names out there that people are waiting to see where they go. And of course, Kawhi Leonard been wanting to trade out of San Antonio, another big name there. So it could be a different look next year. And of course, the question will be, who can challenge the Golden State Warriors? Philadelphia's got some young talent. They could be in the running for LeBron James. He may look at that and say that's a good situation. I think it'd be better for him to stay in the East, where he's dominated, been to the finals the last 8 years. A little bit tougher out West, but the Warriors sitting there to even get to the finals. But Houston, another possibility for LeBron James out West. And they have James Harden, who just was named the MVP of the league for this season. Chris Paul, who's a good friend of LeBron James, a point guard who missed the last couple games of that Warriors series, or maybe Houston would have made it to the finals. So that's an intriguing and enticing situation for LeBron James as well. And then, of course, the Los Angeles Lakers, living in California, Hollywood, with all the glitz and glamour that comes with that, and they have a lot of salary cap space to go get at least one other big name player to go along with LeBron. So that's a possibility. And who knows, maybe Cleveland, LeBron sticks around because he doesn't want to go through leaving there again. But I think he's likely to leave. I think he'll likely be somewhere else next year. So we'll keep an eye on where that might be and how that affects everything else. Speaking of professional sports and where people may land, big reports breaking out of Pittsburgh that the Penguins have traded Connor Sheary and Matt Hunwick to Buffalo for a future draft pick. A move that seems designed to clear cap space for the free agency period, which begins on July 1 in the NHL as well. And, Penguins likely to be eyeing up the defense. I mean, just need some more help there. And, of course, after getting eliminated in the second round by the Washington Capitals this year. So we'll see what the Penguins do once they clear that cap space. And, speaking of professional sports, I just can't get excited about the World Cup. In 1998, I spent the summer in London in summer school while I was in law school. That's where Notre Dame holds their summer school. And I loved it then. Every bar, every pub was filled with people rooting for the various teams, especially the European teams, and a lot of people from other countries living in London. And I got excited. France won, and it was a lot of fun to be over there. But I just can't get excited for it now. I'm not a huge soccer fan, but it is a fun event. But when the American team didn't even qualify, it's hard to know even who to root for. But I just can't get into it. And, speaking of staying with professional sports, the Pirates, last week I said they needed to get to 5 games above 500 by the All-Star break to have a chance, and they're kind of going the other direction. It may be time for the team to look real soon and say, what direction are we headed? And is it time to unload some of these guys? Does it make sense for Sean Rodriguez to be playing? Does it make sense for Josh Harrison to be playing if really they're playing for the future? Maybe get some other young guys in there and get them ready for the future. So that decision's going to have to come soon if things don't turn around quickly. But I'll still say give it till the All-Star break and see what happens. But again, things trending in the wrong direction for the Pittsburgh Pirates, who I had great hope for when the year started. I said they'd finish first or second in the division. Could still happen. I'm not throwing in the towel just yet. But with the way things are looking, just too much to overcome with the deficiencies around the roster. That's all the time we have this week. I appreciate you joining in. I hope you have a wonderful 4th of July. We'll see you next time on The Jamie Bordas Show.